Hey guys, it's Dennis here with Revog Games. I'm joined by
Joshua Weyers, all the way in South Africa.
yes, and we're here. This is our weekly Revog Games podcast where we're going to talk about all things happening in the video gaming world. This week, not a lot of huge news, but a lot of medium-sized news. I'd say a lot of like, oh, okay, that's interesting, and some bigger things coming down the pipeline. We're kind of right in that period of time this year where it's like the big stuff hasn't come out yet, but it's almost there, you know? Like we got Halo Infinite, I think Forza Horizon. We just had Back 4 Blood come out. We talked about that last week. Maybe we'll talk a little bit more about it this week. What else is coming out? I mean, we had both the two big Sony games got delayed till next year.
Age of Empires coming out soon.
Yeah.
The new Age of Empires.
Yeah.
Like literally any day, I think.
Yeah.
Either that or it was next month. I forget.
I think it might be next month, but I mean, next month is not that far away. I mean, it's October 20th.
Yeah.
So, anyways, let's talk straight off the bat. This one is a report, but this is just a report from certain sources. A report from VGC report. Multiple development sources have revealed that a new Splinter Cell game is in early phase of production with a small chance of being announced in 2022. I don't know why you wouldn't announce it. Like, one, I'm excited to see a new Splinter Cell game. You know, a lot of fans have been very upset that Ubisoft has not really pushed this franchise forward. It's kind of one of the more beloved franchises that they had. I mean, I'll be honest with you. Like, of all the Tom Clancy franchises, it's the one that I like the most. I mean, you have Rainbow Six, which I used to play back in the day, but I haven't played the latest iterations. You have Ghost Recon, you have The Division, which is new. You know what I mean? Like, you have all these different, and then we talked about all these new like battle royale games coming out as well, and they're using Sam Fisher and Splinter Cell within some of these battle royales, but like a proper. They even have a Splinter Cell VR game, which I'm really excited about because I think it fits VR very well. But in terms of a proper, third-person perspective, stealth action shooter that we all know and love from Splinter Cell, we just haven't had that. So this doesn't sound like a big surprise. What do you think, Josh?
Well, I'd say the biggest surprise is how freaking long it took them to do this, man. Like, I mean, look, for any modern day gamer, when they think of Tom Clancy, they do think of the newer games. But for most people who have been around, the Splinter Cell games that's where it stood out. You know what I mean? Like, it was just the era when like that era when Splinter Cell came out. Like, it was just a very like defining era. Everybody played that game. It was a great game. It's been a while since we've had like a stealth shooter, if you will.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess the closest thing we've had since
Hitman. Probably
Hitman. I was gonna say, yeah, Hitman's the closest, and Hitman's kind of its own thing. Like,
Yeah.
it's not as serious as Splinter Cell. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, hell, like in Hitman, you can kill people with a freaking banana peel. You know what I mean? In Splinter Cell, you're not gonna have that. It's a lot more serious, a lot more heavy, and it's just about time. You know, it was never the kind of game that I would enjoy. Like, I always mildly enjoyed the Splinter Cell games, but most people I know that played them loved them. Like, they loved that game, and they've been waiting for a good Splinter Cell game for years to come out. You know. Or just a good stealth shooter, you know?
Yeah, I don't think I played the last one, Blacklist, but I played Conviction, and obviously the original. I'll be honest with you. For me, I'm a Splinter Cell guy versus a Metal Gear Solid guy. I'm not really into the Metal Gear Solid franchise.
Same. I prefer Splinter Cell to Metal Gear Solid. Was just, the story's great, but it was just a bit too slow for me, pacing wise, you know?
Also, I remember, I don't know if they changed the controls yet, but they used to do the Resident Evil type controls, where it was the tank controls. Is I think the proper terminology is for that. I don't know if they switched over. Also, they
R1 to shoot or something.
Like Metal Gear Solid
to shoot or something. I can't remember.
But that whole franchise also was, PS exclusives, and I just never really got into them.
Yeah.
Yeah, and had a really to some people convoluted, to some people complicated story, but anyways, it was, it had a lot of fantastical elements to it. Where Splinter Cell was a very like, okay, it's not real, but it's more realistic, right? They're trying to go in that future realistic vein, much like all the Tom Clancy franchises, have been. So, yeah, I'm excited that they're doing this. I hope they spend the proper time and resources on it, and it's not something they're just gonna like throw out there. But I would think that they know this, seeing as how much backlash they've been getting from fans about not having it come out, and so they should know that just throwing out some run of the mill retread is not gonna do them any good, both from sales and from fan reaction.
Yeah. Well, I think there's still a lot of source material for them to use from the books and stuff. Most likely. Look, the game's if they're only planning on announcing it next year, the game's in like pre-production still, or pre-design, however you want to look at it.
They find like they're like, oh, that franchise everyone loves and talks about all the time. I guess we should start working on it.
Yeah, I guess it was after the second Wildlands they were like, oh, we got to try something else.
Yeah. So that is kind of, like I said, it's not confirmed. It's just a report's coming out, but it's like, I guess maybe a little better than just rumors, but we'll see once Ubisoft kind of makes the official announcement, which they say maybe will happen next year. I would hope it happens next year, even if it's not even coming for a while. Just make the announcement, let people know that it's on its way, and then then you can kind of work on it instead of people just asking you all the time. So
that's true. Yeah. Just let us know. We'll be patient with it. And look, it's got to have a good story, because like the worst thing they could do is try to like add some kind of service into the game. You know what I mean?
Battle Royale, Splinter Cell. Like the whole thing is.
Oh my god, that would be terrible.
Yes.
Like the most like unhyped battle royale ever. It's just people crouching and like crawling around corners for a good 20 minutes until only one person's left.
Yeah.
No, look, like the game, I have high hopes, but it's also like I base that on nothing. I just base that on the fact that as long as they stick to the source material and they make a good solid like stealth shooter game, then I think it'll be good.
Which is funny because I've always said this, and I still kind of maintain this. I'm not a fan of stealth in games, but for whatever reason, Splinter Cell, it works. Maybe it's the realistic nature of it, and you have like, you have your night vision goggles. You have all different kinds of cool futuristic gadgets that kind of help you along the way. And maybe that's what makes it more interesting to me. But usually like stealth parts in games, right? Like, for example, when we talk about like Ghost of Tsushima, if I don't have to do stealth, I will not do stealth. I will go in there, swords slicing, guns blazing. Yeah. So my default is if I don't have to do stealth, I will not do stealth. But for some reason, Splinter Cell is the exception for me. All right, let's move.
It's because it's satisfying. The kills, like that, it's just very satisfying. Pulling off like like just sweeping a good floor, to make sure, like not alerting anybody, getting your headshots in. Like it's a satisfying feeling.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to the next thing. So we had DC Fandom 2021 this past weekend. Big event. A lot of stuff. Obviously the biggest stuff were not gaming related. You have the new the Batman trailer. You had the Peacemaker HBO series trailer. You had Shazam footage. You had Shazam 2 footage.
Black Adam footage.
Yeah, Black Adam footage and whatnot. But in terms of the gaming side, they did show 2 new trailers. One being the Gotham Knights story trailer, and then also the Suicide Squad story trailer. Let's start off with the Gotham Knights. What do you think about this new story trailer we got that kind of focused on the Court of Owls that we knew they hinted at the last trailer they showed, but this one actually goes much more deep into it.
Yeah, and they explain it a lot more too. I actually don't know anything about like the Court of Owls or just and I know Caboose has tried to explain it to me before, but I'm stoked for this. Oddly enough, going into this, I thought that I would be more excited for Gotham Knights. Well, before having seen the DC Fandom stuff, I thought I was gonna be like, yeah, Gotham Knights, I'm excited for that, and then maybe after that, I'll be like, yeah, I'm looking forward to playing the Suicide Squad game. But after what I've been seeing, I think I'm more interested in the Suicide Squad game. You know, just the storyline to that, like it seems fun. Um, obviously goofy, you know, whereas this Gotham Knights has a looks like a more serious
Yeah.
tone to it. Both look like fun games. That's the best part here is they don't. It doesn't look like one sucks and the other doesn't. Like they
Hmm.
both look like good, solid games. Which is just it's a win. You know what I mean? If you can enjoy both, why not?
Yeah, there's still no release date for Gotham Knights. It was remember when it was supposed to be out this year, but we're like, no,
Yeah.
they ain't happening.
I think they're gonna prioritize the Suicide Squad game
Yeah.
though.
So it's gonna come out sometime 2022. Yeah, with the Court of Owls, I mean, I read I don't know how many comic book storylines, but I did read one of the comic book storylines involving them and Batman. They're this underground secret society, but that's been living, you know, kind of in the shadows of Gotham for a long, long time, like much longer than, you know, Batman and Bruce Wayne, and they kind of have a lot of different powers. But I think more than just like people pulling the strings, they actually have like, you know, people that are there fighting for them, you know, like there's actual, instead of just like, oh, we have lots of money or whatever. It's like it's more than just money. It's like
Yeah.
they're deeply ingrained into Gotham, you know, at every level, right? Like from a, you know, politically,
Like underground cartel kind of thing.
yeah, but it's like
They got their
politically,
hands in everything.
economically, you know, arms wise, like just everything. But anyways,
Oh, okay. So they're like the hand from from Marvel, right?
yeah, I would say something similar to that.
Kind of like the hand.
Yeah,
Okay.
but yeah, the Court of Owls. It's interesting because the Court of Owls, at least from what I've read, was, you know, tied, you know, to Batman in that storyline. But in this game, there is no Batman. It's, you know, it's Nightwing, Batgirl, Robin, and Red Hood. Though you and me both speculated that at some point we expect Batman to show up in the game.
Yeah. You know what? I have other like speculations now
Mm-hmm.
is that we might see Nightwing die in this.
Hmm.
Only because for the possibility of getting Deadwing.
Hmm.
In order to get Deadwing,
Mhm.
we need a dead Nightwing, you know? So maybe, I don't know. I have that speculation in the back of my mind. If we're not going to see like Batman, maybe we'll see Deadwing.
Talons are the name of the Court of Owls assassins. So those are the guys you kind of see actually fighting with.
Okay, I was
with the
wondering.
Bat
It looks
family.
Yeah, I like the fact that you can drop in and out. Like, I mean, you can play single player or you can have co-op, and people
Yeah.
can just drop in and out. Um, for for the most part, it's two other games come to mind where you can just drop in and out for co-op, and it's Outriders and Marvel's Avengers, and one of those did a lot better than the other. So I think yeah, it looks good. It looks fun. But then again, so did Marvel's Avengers when it came out. You know what I mean? Like before that game came out, like before playing it, it looked good and it looked fun. And then when it came out and it was a buggy mess. So this looks good. It looks fun. And only time will tell. You know what I mean? I do think that they're going to be prioritizing the other game though over this
Suicide Squad.
Suicide Squad. Yeah.
Yeah, that looks like obviously much more of a less serious, more fun type of game. But
Well, it's just the IP is more popular at the moment as well. Like you had the movie, which did not so well. Then you had the animated series, which did pretty well. Then you had the new movie, which did better than the previous movie. And then I think they're gonna get another animated series again. So it's just a very popular IP at the moment. So they're gonna try to pull in the money from that.
you know, what's funny though is watching the Suicide Squad stuff. Though it's like, you know, it's Suicide Squad. You know, kill the Justice League, or what's the actual tagline? Kill.
I think
Kill
it's-
the
it's
kill the Justice. Yeah.
Kill the Justice League.
And you like think about who's on the Suicide Squad team and who's in Justice League. And it's like, dude, like in reality, it'd be like
It's never gonna happen.
no
never gonna happen.
contest. Yeah, you have Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Flash on the Justice League side. then you have Harley Quinn, what, Deadshot, King Shark, Captain Boomer. Like, those guys are not defeating the Justice League.
Yeah. The only way that it like seems like they could maybe argue that they could be defeated is because obviously like just from the footage I've seen, the main premise seems to be that the Justice League is either being mind controlled or taken over, or like the evil within them has been brought out. The point is they're not like the Justice League we know. So I don't know. Maybe the fact that they're being controlled makes them easier to beat. I don't know. Because you got like a gosh darn good point, Dennis. Like, just Superman on his own can just wipe out the Suicide Squad.
Yeah,
just in
I'm
in
sure.
a few blinks of an eye.
Sure, Wonder Woman can wipe them out on her own as well.
Exactly. Yeah.
So
the only thing they have is the element of surprise. With Harley. That's it.
yeah. But anyways, it still looks fun. Gotham Knights. I mean, I'm maybe just because I'm more of a Batman guy. I'm more interested in the Gotham Knights game. Plus, with the whole drop in, drop out co-op thing. So I enjoy Suicide Squad. It's just not, in the latest movie was a lot better than the first movie, but still, it's not one of my favorite franchises. So
well, like the story to Gotham Knights is obviously going to be. It looks like it's going to be a lot more in depth. It's going to have layers. It's going to be a lot more serious. And just judging off of the trailers and the footage we've seen, it's going to have a much longer playtime than the Suicide Squad. Suicide Squad seems like a short game, at least story-wise. Or I don't think there'll be much depth, you know what I mean? It'll be like the setup to the story, and then it's going to be, okay, taking out the members one by one, and then the end of the story, Whereas with Gotham Knights, there's going to be plot twists and turns, and it's definitely going to be a better story for sure.
Yeah, it's interesting is Penguin is in both of these story trailers in very different ways.
That is interesting.
One, in the Gotham Knights one, he's like kind of telling like the story or the backstory of the Court of Owls and everything, and he's very serious. And then in the Suicide Squad one, he's a joke because they keep frying him, they keep electrocuting him. So it's just funny to see the same character in two very different ways. And all right, is there anything else from DC fandom you wanted to talk about in terms of games?
Like we said, a lot of movie stuff. Not that much game stuff. I thought there would be more, but look, Suicide Squad and Gotham Knights is plenty. That's plenty. We can't really complain. You know what I mean?
Yeah. All right, let's move on. This one just dropped today. It's not a gameplay trailer, and it's not even like it is a story trailer, but it's not like they use like in-game footage. But basically, Bethesda did a trailer that showed concept art and just talked about the kind of main story of Starfield and the different factions you can be part of, and how basically there was these two.
Concept art looks sick.
Yeah.
Like, if those are actual cities and locations we can go to,
I'm
hope
stoked. I hope so.
I really hope so.
And
like, it goes from like this like dark cyberpunk underground kind of city to like this like out there almost like utopia type of like technology, like thriving technological city. So I hope it has those. I like it when games have in their world design. I like it when they have like not polar opposites, but contrast. You know what I mean? Like, and just looking at these, just looking at the things that the concept art that dropped. There's contrast. You know what I mean? And I like that. Yeah. I want to go to places where it seems different.
Yeah, and also I like because we already had Outer Worlds, which was basically, Obsidian doing their version of Fallout in space, and it has kind of the more comical, outrageous, over the top tone that Starfield is much more serious. It's much more like Mass Effect in that way. There are aliens and alien planets and all that stuff, but it's much more grounded and serious. And they have different factions. They showed off some different ones. There's gonna be like space pirates and what were the other ones? Crimson Fleet. Oh yeah, Pirates of the Crimson Fleet.
The Ecliptic Mercenaries.
Yes. And a
Yeah, the
religious
Pirates
cult.
of the Crimson Fleet. And
A
the House Varun.
Yeah. So.
Don't know how to pronounce that. So yeah, those are like your three main factions right there.
What's interesting is you kind of automatically start in this Constellation faction. So basically, the key plot is that there's these two huge factions, Constellation and what was the other one called? Where's the other one? Free Star Collective. Oh, sorry, the United Colonies and the Free Star Collectives. And then there was a war for 20 years, and then they finally made peace. And then all of these other kind of factions are just kind of part of this universe.
Uneasy peace is what they call it.
Yeah. So
it's like a very tense peace. Like it's like there's peace, but at any point in time there could be war, but there's peace right now.
Yeah.
So that's the kind of setting that they're put. Like it's their answer to like the Stormcloaks and the Imperial Legion in Skyrim, which I like. You know what I mean? If you've played Skyrim before, you're used to those kind of factions. You'll be used to these. It just takes place in space. And as usual, the footage we saw looked crisp, but once again, obviously not in engine. So
yeah,
you know, I mean, there's not much we can say about that. Like, if the cutscene has to look, if it's not in engine, if it's not in game, the cutscene has to look good. You know.
Yeah.
And it does look good. Like if it didn't look good, I'd be worried.
Yeah. So just I like that they're showing some stuff here and there. We know it's coming out end of next year. Things look to be on track, hopefully. Next story here is Dragon Age 4. It looks like that it is going to be next gen only, which means Xbox Series X/S, PS5, and PC.
Hold up, just going back real quick. I don't know if you saw this, but the concept art that they teased, there's like 1 minute videos attached for each concept art piece.
Oh, I did not see that.
And you can like see them in like motion and like what they're kind of expecting the vibe to be.
No, I only watched the trailer that kind of showed off the different
like here's the one. I'll just quickly drop it in Discord for you. It just kind of gives you like more of a vibe of what they're going for, you know what I mean? I like that. We have like names of areas. There's this one place called New Atlantis. That's what I just sent you now. That's Neon. That's Neon. Then what's this one? New Atlantis. That looks sick too. Yeah, these are like little like 50-second clips.
Oh yeah, I see. They're like moving concept art, right? Like motion concept art. Aquila's another area. Yeah, I mean these
that looks more like Hoth almost, except with less sand.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
I mean, to me, these type of games, like locations, are important because, like, for me, one of the favorite things I love doing is exploring these type of games and having different worlds with different characters that like show off all the world. I mean, obviously, you can't just have that; you got to have more than that. But if you do this
lore.
Yeah.
They got the lore. They're building it a lot more than I thought. Well, I mean, this is something I knew when I saw Bethesda was going to be like a long time ago when they announced Starfield, and I saw Bethesda was going to be making its own space RPG. I knew that the lore was going to be rich, and they had to work on this lore. So like we know about the Free Star Collective, Aquila City, which is that last one I showed you. That's like apparently the capital of the Free Star Collective. Neon is like a pleasure city that started as like a fishing city kind of thing. So it has like all this cool lore that they're already going into, which I'm so excited about.
All right. Yeah, I was saying before, Dragon Age 4 is going to be next gen only, it seems. There was a LinkedIn profile for someone to work on Dragon Age 4. And they only mentioned the console release for PS5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC, which I remember the leap from the last generation from Xbox 360 to Xbox One, they did like a dual release for Dragon Age Inquisition, which is Dragon Age 3.
Yeah.
They had both for Xbox 360 and for Xbox One. So I guess this is a different, I guess they expect, because I guess the game is going to be out for a while, so I guess they expect more people to be playing on next gen stuff by then, and that it won't hold them back, hopefully.
Well, I think it's because they also just saw what happened with Cyberpunk. You know what I mean? Like, I bet you CD Projekt Red wishes that they decided on a next gen only launch.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
if they could focus on purely next gen and PC only,
Yeah.
they would have had a much better launch. They would probably have way less problems right now to be fixing. And then it was same with what was it? I mean, I've been playing Diablo 2 Resurrected, but apparently people have been, there was like a petition going around where people wanted to be removed from the Xbox store and the PlayStation store until they fix certain bugs with it, which I've been playing on PC. I haven't encountered any. But the main issue is that like Blizzard, you know what? Actually, we'll get into that later. But yeah, the point is, I think it's a good move. It's a smart. Well, I wouldn't say it's a good move necessarily, but if they're doing this, my assumption is that they know that the game that they're going to be releasing will not run on PS4. You know what I mean? Like they don't want to like have a blue screen situation on PS4 like Cyberpunk. You know, where that game just cannot run on a 8-year-old piece of hardware now. You know?
Yeah, I think
so it makes sense to me.
I mean, that was the whole Cyberpunk thing. They made a next gen game and try to retrofit it into into old technology. You know?
Yeah.
And you know, for whatever they're trying to do with Dragon Age, I mean, they, like I said, we're thinking probably 2023 for a release date for this game. So, yeah, it just doesn't make sense. By that time, we're not talking about this year or next year. We're talking about 2 years from now. You know, that's a long. You know, that 8 years or whatever is now. What year did?
I think 2013. I want to say.
Yeah, that 8 years is going to be, 10 years.
Exactly.
So.
It just makes sense to me. Like, nobody really has the right to complain about this. I mean, look, if you are still rocking your PS4 in 2023, which a lot of people are, like realistically, a lot of people will be, you know what I mean, because of the economy. But like, it is what it is, you know. There's nothing we can do about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It is what it is, and I think it's a smart move on their half because, like, the amount of time and money they would need to optimize it for both like generations, it's not worth it. It is not worth it. So now they only have to focus on next gen and PC. They're just gonna have it's gonna be a walk in the, well, I wouldn't say a walk in the park, but they've like already eliminated so many possible issues that they would have had to deal with. They no longer have to deal with. So it's a smart choice. I don't see anyone being upset about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's inevitable. I mean, most of these games are going to make that transition. Like I said, it's not like a game that came... Because I remember when Dragon Age Inquisition came out, I believe it came out maybe 1 year after... Maybe even less than a year.
It was about a year.
A year or less after the launch of the new consoles. So
I think it was just over a year, but yeah.
So it wasn't a huge, like there was still that transition period, but by 2023,
I mean, I didn't even know that it was on the Xbox 360.
Oh yeah.
Like, I had no idea. I thought it was PS4, like that generation only, and then PC. I had no idea that it was on the PS3 and Xbox 360.
Yeah. So, anyways, let's move on to the next one, which, speaking of PCs, God of War coming to PC in January.
Oh, yeah.
This is like a surprise, but not a surprise in terms of, we knew it was coming, right? We knew they've been kind of taking older games, hugely popular games, and adapting them for PC to debut year or years later than when they debut on PlayStation, right? We had Death Stranding come out about a year after it came out on the PS4. Days Gone as well. Horizon Forbidden. What's the? I keep getting them mixed up because I keep going.
Horizon Zero Dawn.
Horizon Zero Dawn recently came.
Forbidden West is the sequel coming out soon.
Zero Dawn came out, I think, last year, if I'm not correct. If I'm correct.
No, I think it was this year, early this year.
Either early.
I think it was late last year. Wow, time has flown.
Yeah.
It's been about a year. Holy crap, yeah.
But that was a game that had already been out on PS4 for a few years. This is kind of the
2017.
This is kind of the new model. So we knew like this was in the pipeline. We just didn't know it was coming out that soon and that it would already develop that far into it. So basically they came out with a trailer. If you look at it, it looks great. It's in 4K options. The textures and resolution are better. It just looks like an approved.
It looks sharp. It looks crisp.
Honestly, if I hadn't just played the game, I think end of last year, then I would probably get it and play it. But it's kind of like the whole thing with me and Alan Wake. I just replayed it, so like the remaster is something that I want to get, but it's just like it's been so close since I played it. Like
I mean, I think this is mainly for PC players, really, because if you I played the game when it came out on launch. I played it on launch day. I finished it the week it came out, and I still remember that game so well that I don't see that I wouldn't play it now. Like, I mean, I'd like to, but I'm not going to spend like 60 or
it's 50.
However, $50.
Yeah.
$50 for PC. That's actually really not too bad.
Yeah.
Wow. But still, I'm not really gonna like. I'll get it on sale one day because I've already played it, and then maybe like 10 years from now I can come back to it or something, But yeah, it's one of those games where like if you've played like the ever-loving crap out of it, you're not gonna want to go back and play it again. But there are so many PC players who have been waiting for this, Dennis, and I mean waiting. Like some people thought it would never happen. Like I have friends who messaged me about this going, it's finally happening, because I think I told them years ago, I was like, it'll never happen. If you want to play God of War, you have to buy a PlayStation. That's what I told my friends, Dennis. I said, you got to buy a PlayStation if you want to play God of War. And here I am eating my own words, and you can play it on PC in a few months from now, But you and I have heard rumors for a long time about this.
Yeah.
I thought it would. I actually had a feeling that it would be on the Epic Game Store as an exclusive or something for a while. Still don't know about that. Do we know where it's going to be sold?
Let me take a look. No, it's both for Steam and Epic, because you can pre-order it right now. So it's going to be for
no
both
exclusive deals then.
Yeah, I think it's
it makes sense.
For that type of game.
It was just a matter of time. But do you know what this means, Dennis? This means that we're getting Ghost of Tsushima PC version as well.
Yeah. I mean, we saw when they bought, what was the name of the company? Blue Point? Was it Blue Point Studios?
Yeah, the remaking studio. The studio's good at remakes.
Yeah, they need to make money, right? And what's the best way to make money? Also, in the way that they're doing it, it doesn't hurt their PlayStation sales, because these games have been out for a long time. So they're only not only, because some people will buy them for the updated or upgraded graphics, but in general, it is for the audience that doesn't own a PlayStation and doesn't plan on owning a PlayStation, but still wants to play these games that they've heard many great things about, right? So ultimately, because if you see all these games that they're also coming out on, for Xbox that are also on PC as well, it's kind of like if you're a PC owner that you have a decent gaming PC, you kind of get the best of both worlds. The only difference is you have to wait for the PlayStation stuff versus with the Xbox stuff is all the same day.
Well, the good news is that they're all like narrative single-player games. If it was a multiplayer game, you'd be missing out on a lot of hype. But they're all games that you can literally pick up 5 years from now and still have an amazing experience. I am probably going to pick this up because I just saw that I get regional pricing for 600 Rand, which is like
You scared me. You scared me. You almost said I almost thought you were gonna pick it up because you were gonna say, oh, because it's got this bonus content. Because I'm about to say something.
Oh no, it's 600 rand for me, which is roughly, I want to say, like $25.
Okay, that's a great price.
So the full price for me is like $25.
Yeah.
I'm definitely gonna get it.
Okay. So it's coming with. Let me just list this off and then I'll give you my thoughts. So the PC version is gonna have bonus content. Death's Vow armor sets for Kratos and Atreus, Exile's Guardian shield skin, Buckler of the Forged shield skin, Shiny Elven Soul shield skin, Duckin Shielder shield skin. So my take on this, maybe because I'm a older gamer, I don't care anymore. Like, it used to be cool back in the day when it was like you pre-ordered stuff and you would get like these bonus content and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And
you
get the you get the bonus like I remember I got the bonus horse in Red Dead Redemption 2. Ultimately, it doesn't matter. Like, maybe just because I'm at that point where I've been playing games so long, it's like there's so much stuff like that it doesn't mean anything to me anymore. You know what I mean?
Well,
like,
also, I would say skins in a non-social, non-multiplayer game aren't really as valued that much.
yeah.
You know? Like, it's cool. Like, don't get me, like, I'm gonna obviously use all these skins because they're gonna be there anyways, and I'm getting the game for like half the price. I'm getting, like I said, I'm paying like maybe just under $30 for the game. You know, I'm gonna play with them anyways. But ideally, like, I don't know. I still get a thrill from pre-ordering items, but sorry, well, the getting items from a pre-order bonus, I still get a thrill from that. But it's less so these days, because these days, after the game comes out, like, you can usually just pay an extra $5 to get the pre-order stuff. And it's like, what's the point of like getting people to pre-order the game, getting the bonus content from pre-ordering it, if you're just gonna allow other people to buy for $5 like a week later, you know?
Yeah.
I think that's stupid, you know? It's like,
it's basically giving you $5 worth of value for pre-ordering, which is fine.
Yeah.
I'm not saying
Like,
it's like
I'd like that if it was exclusive, you know? If I got the pre-order bonus and then a week later the game's out, nobody else can get that pre-order bonus unless they pre-ordered the game, that would be sick. But most games nowadays, you can just buy whatever the pre-order bonus was like in game a week later. And I think like that just defeats the purpose.
I just think I'm at the point
having pre-order stuff.
I just think I'm at the point where it's just every game does this now, that it just doesn't feel any special to me. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Look,
it's kind of it's a given. It's just part of every single game now.
Yeah.
It's nowadays I'd say you get weirded out whenever you have a game that doesn't have it, you know? And it's like, wow, this is the whole game.
Yeah.
It's all right here in one payment. There's no bonus
Yeah,
bundles or
don't
anything.
get me wrong. Like, for Halo Infinite, I may buy some skins or whatever, but not a lot, because I'm just not a person who just.
Yeah.
But maybe I'll buy a few that I think are really, really cool. But ultimately, when it comes to
It
like,
makes sense in a Halo, because when you defeat someone, you can teabag them and they can see the things you're wearing while you teabag them, Dennis. You get that thrill, you know?
Yeah.
Like, it's not like the NPCs in God of War are going to be looking at your shiny shield skin, you know, going, oh, that's a nice shield skin.
Yeah. So, anyways, that's just my two cents. All right, here's the next thing, which is interesting, which is Xbox Game Pass subscription growth has slowed down this year. Which it sounds worse than it actually is.
It's a bit of a clickbait title, you know? It still grew, just not as fast as last year.
Yes, and they also target. So, okay, last year, Game Pass, it's always easier to do this when you're smaller, which is they increased subscriptions by 86%, and they had a goal of 71%. And so this year, it's harder to match that performance, but they targeted 47.8%, and they're at 37.5%. So they're underneath what they targeted for this year. Now, the whole thing, though, to be fair, is if you actually look at the landscape, there's perfectly good reason for this. Xbox Game Pass, while I still think is a wonderful deal, I have it, it's great. You know, there's so many cool games, it's well worth the money. It did not have has not had the big first-party exclusive games that would bring people to sign up for Game Pass, which they
True.
are going to
True.
have, which with Halo Infinite, Age of Empires 4, those games are still coming. But as far as this year, what was there? There really wasn't anything much coming out,
I
right?
mean, nothing exclusive, like truly exclusive. You know what
I
I
mean,
mean? Nothing truly.
they had Microsoft
Yeah.
Flight Simulator, Psychonauts 2. I mean, which are good games, but
Yeah.
they're
But they're
not,
not exclusive.
and they're not
Like you
triple
can get them
title.
on, like you can get Microsoft Flight Simulator on Steam or Epic. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, when I mean exclusive though, is I guess because I believe Halo will still be for purchase
Yeah. But I mean
elsewhere.
this
But what I
the
mean is,
single. Well, I guess the single player.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But what I mean is like, it's not dry. So let's say when Halo Infinite comes out, I think in a month, right? Is it no December 8th? I think that's the date. Anyways,
Yeah.
a little over a month. When it comes out, it's gonna be not the multiplayer. The multiplayer is gonna be free because they're gonna make money on the microtransactions, but the campaign, right? Well, when you look at it, you're like, oh, that's a $60 game. Or I can pay for Xbox Game Pass for 4 months, and then I can play that game, and I probably could finish that campaign within that amount of time. Plus, I have access to all these other games. So it just becomes a cost proposition where you're like, what should I do? That makes a lot more sense. And then that's when people are going to sign up for it. Unlike now, there's just kind of no big reason. So I feel like that percentage is going to jump.
I suppose the two biggest reasons they had, and I suppose the reason why they had a slightly bigger projection, or let's say that they had a little higher projection. Look, this year's projection was lower than last year's projection. That's because they know that in their first year, most of the subscriptions they're going to get are from Xbox fans. You know, people that are like they're fans of Xbox. They're people that were going to get it anyways. You know what I mean? So they had lower projections for the next year. They didn't hit them, but they were still pretty high, 47%. But look, there were two big things that happened in the past year for Game Pass that I think it did do very well for Game Pass, but they must have. I think Game Pass was expecting to get more people from it, which is one, they partnered with EA Play, which is an entire the entire EA Play library is now attached to Game Pass. That must have surely brought in some people because a lot of people were looking at both of them and going, "Wow, I can't afford both of these." And then all of a sudden, boom, for like the price of $10, you can have both of them, you know? Or if you're on Game Pass or PC, that's just the price. For the price of one of them, you can have both of them, you know? And then the second thing they did was when they acquired Bethesda and all of Bethesda's games came on as well. I think those two things they were expecting to bring in more people, especially the EA Play thing. I think they were really expecting to bring in more customers with having EA Play there.
Yeah, the EA Play thing, I mean, obviously on the whole is a great thing, but it is a little pain in the ass to use. I don't know, because I really don't use it on the Xbox, but on the PC side, it's like in the Xbox app, they have some of the EA Play games there for you to download, but they don't have them all. If you want to see them all, you've got to
You gotta
go
into the EA app. And
yes,
that's in, like, beta
and
it's
look,
not
I don't
that
have a
good.
problem with going into other apps to play games or whatnot. It's just that you kind of like it's a roundabout way. It's like might as well just open up the EA Play, you know. I almost wish they didn't even have the EA Play games in the Xbox app because then it kind of tricks me into thinking like, oh, this is the limited amount of EA games that are available.
It's weird because some of the EA Play games you can download and install through the Xbox
Yes,
app,
but some
and
you
then
cannot.
sometimes it'll say, and then sometimes it'll say no, open the EA Play app, and you'll do that. And most recently, and this is an issue I've emailed them about, I hope they can fix it, which is Dragon Age Inquisition doesn't work. And I thought like, oh, is it just like some games that weren't working? No, specifically Dragon Age Inquisition doesn't work because it's still kind of linked to their old Origin launcher, which they don't use anymore because now they use the EA Play launcher. And it's like, I don't know, there's some issues there they need to fix. But the point is, Game Pass is a great deal. It still did well, even though they didn't do as well as what they thought they did, they still did very well and a lot better than whatever PlayStation Now did. I can promise you that.
Yeah. I mean, they do have the deeper library, and they also are doing day one releases, which you can't beat day one release. That's why it's like, I think when Halo Infinite comes out, I think you will see a big uptick in Game Pass subscriptions, because remember, this game was supposed to come out last year. Last fall, with the launch of Xbox Series X and S. And so they were expecting, we launched the new console, and then this game is going to be day one. All these people are going to sign up for. In a way, they kind of missed the opportunity to kind of get those people who bought the Xbox Series X and S's on day one to immediately just sign up for Game Pass right away. And not having Halo kind of hurt that, because it's like, well, why am I signing up for? So, anyways, I mean, it's weird because, like, even myself, who plays games, but I don't play them, as much as I want, and even I'm getting value out of that. Like, I can't imagine someone who has like tons of time, like me, like 10 years ago would probably be like I'd be just
I use
swimming.
it every day, Dennis.
I'd be swimming
I use
in
it literally every day. I use it. Most recently, I've been playing a game called Rift Breaker, which is really fun.
See, I don't game hop as much as you. You're probably like a more traditional. You're a game hopper. I'm a 1-2 games at a time type of dude. I'm like, okay, I'm playing this and I'll play this and that's it, But I'm not like I'm gonna play this and then that and this and that and then I'm just kind of like, all right, this week I'm kind of playing this and that's it. So, and right now I'm on the Back for Blood kind of train. So, all right. Anyways, next thing up here, Elden Ring, delayed to February, which is not that. I mean, originally it was going to be January 21st. Got delayed to February 25th. Same year, just a month later. They are doing a closed network test, console only. I think. Did you sign up for it? I signed up for it. I mean, to be a chance to get on there.
What console is it?
They have the older
PS4 as well.
Yeah, because I don't have access. It's not for PC. It's for PS4, PS5, Xbox One, and Xbox Series X/S.
Yeah, I think I'll sign up then.
Yeah,
I'll definitely sign up then. I don't know why, but in my mind I thought it was Xbox for some reason. No. But yeah, no, I'm definitely gonna sign up.
The session is in November 12th to November 14th. So limited amount of time to play, but
November 15th technically.
Yeah. So hopefully you and me get on that. I know we were.
There's a very short sessions, but it makes sense. Like 3 hours should be enough. 3 hours should be enough time for you to die, enough times to like ripple your hair out.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you and me were lucky to get into the Halo Infinite preview, which, oh man, I'm like fiending for that. I didn't realize it until they took it away from me. Like how
I know what you mean, because I was enjoying Back for Blood with you, but I was like, I just want to play some more Halo, man.
Yeah, like I was playing it. It's like, man, this is so much fun. And then I was like, oh, and because I had thought like they would still let you play the training mode, just for fun, but they took that away too. So
yeah, they took it all away.
Yeah. All right, but a little over a month, it'll be back. Speaking of Halo co-creator Marcus Leto, who was the founder of Disintegration Studio, has gone to EA to help set up a new Seattle studio. He had originally was the Bungie's creative art director from 1997 to 2012. He created Master Chief. And he worked on all the Bungie Halo games, but then he left to start his own company, and he worked on that game Disintegration, which
I never really tried.
I tried it. The problem with the game is it felt like a work in progress. It felt like it had something there, but it just wasn't fully fleshed out, and it needed more time. But it was apparently a very expensive endeavor, and it
I mean, I'm looking at the trailer again, and it does look very expensive.
yeah.
Because I don't know a single person who still plays it or who even tried to play it
Yes.
besides you.
Yeah, and I had gotten a review copy, so
Yeah.
it had some interesting ideas. It just, to be honest, and I mentioned this many times before, the problem with it is it was a mouse keyboard type of game.
They try to put it on a console.
Yes, exactly. Because of the way
you can't have that.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah, the whole the whole RTS thing. Because I still remember the idea behind it, RTS FPS hybrid. I was
Yes.
like, that sounds fun.
Yeah.
And then someone told me it's on a controller, and I was like, how the hell do you do RTS on a controller?
You can do it. It's just not as intuitive.
Yeah.
So, anyways, that's interesting to see what comes out of that studio.
Yeah, I had no idea what the hell he's gonna work on. You know.
Yeah. All right. This one is Compulsion Games, which is the studio that's behind We Happy Few. They have said they have doubled in size to make a narrative single-player Xbox exclusive. So yeah, if you don't remember, Microsoft had bought Compulsion Games, and We Happy Few is kind of
creepy, man. It's like this very weird, creepy.
Yeah.
I never got to play it because the game just kind of creeped me out too much. Or I think I played the first 5 minutes and it tripped me out. Like, you're on this like happy pill. You got to take your happy pill, and if you don't take your happy pill, then it's almost like the happy pill keeps you hallucinating. And then whenever you sober up, you look around you and you realize what the world really is, but you got to stay on your happy pill to like not see it. Like there was this one time, like I think the intro was like you smacking a piñata. But then you start sobering up and you realize that it's not a piñata that you're beating, you know?
Yeah.
It was very twisted. But it makes sense to me, like, because I think, I could be wrong, but I feel like that game had survival elements to it. But playing that game, it seemed like it seemed like way more of a narrative experience, you know?
Yeah.
And I feel like they would do well at a narrative single-player game.
Yeah, and it looks like it has nothing to do with We Happy Few, and it's going to be its own brand new thing, and it's going to be a narrative. They said third-person, story-based.
Probably still going to be creepy, though, because that's just kind of what they specialize in.
Possibly, yeah. But it's definitely more, almost in a way, kind of going after that PlayStation type of market, right? That third-person, story-based action-adventure. That's just my guess. They said it's not going to be roguelike. It's not multiplayer.
I guess We Happy Few must have been roguelike. I didn't get too far into it to realize that.
I didn't play it. I just heard a lot about it. It had like more of a cult following.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But yeah, this is what they bought them for. I mean, this is when they bought Compulsion Games. They bought Playground Games. They bought Ninja Theory. They bought all these studios at that time. They were doing kind of like a mass acquisition. This is before Bethesda, so they could get games like this, right? I mean, that's how PlayStation won the last console generation, because they had those games. They had the Uncharted, the Last of Us, the Ghost of Tsushima, the God of War, all that good stuff, and Xbox doesn't have that yet. I mean, they have their own, like with Halo Infinite and whatnot, and they pretty much bought Bethesda for that reason, but they want more. So looks like they're putting them to work. That's what they're doing. So
yeah.
All right. Next thing we've got here is the HTC Vive Flow.
Yeah, this thing looks interesting.
Yes, if people don't know, it's this new VR, and I don't know if it's to call it a headset, because it's almost like a sunglasses thing. So basically,
yeah, it's like super portable.
Yeah, it's not like your Quest or your Valve Index or whatever. It's kind of this small little sunglasses thing, and it gives you a VR experience, but there are no controllers. You actually have to use your phone, and it has to be an Android phone, at least for now. It's a very lightweight headset, and the kind of experiences that they're trying to do for it are less game focused and more kind of like actual, like, one is like watching Netflix and whatnot, and then they're just trying to put in these experiences in them that aren't really. I mean, they do have some games, but it's just not game focused. And I believe also it's for commercial/retail purposes. So
I was gonna say it looks like the kind of thing that you would see at a convention somewhere where it's like, hey, you and 5 other buddies put these on and go take a tour of Egypt or something, you know? Like
exactly, it's that type of thing.
They look cool. They look very commercial. Like they look somewhere in between like a fashion product and something where it's like, yeah, you can see like being like 10 or 20 of these being handed out at a convention for some kind of event or something, you know? It's definitely not like you're not going to be playing you're not going to be playing Half-Life Alyx on this thing, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you're not going to be gaming. I don't think there's going to be any gaming on this thing. Hold on. You get a joystick.
There is no. I don't believe there's a joystick.
Hold on. Oh, my bad. Oh, I read this wrong.
Yeah, you use your phone. There's an app on your phone that you use to control stuff with. You kind of use it as like a pointer.
Yeah.
So yeah, and what's also interesting is to make it more lightweight as well. They didn't put the battery in there, so there's actually a cord that leads from the glasses
I saw that, yeah.
to a battery pack. I mean, the battery pack is small. It's like almost like a, what you see, like a USB charger, right? Like a cell phone charger, USB charger.
The refresh rate's not too bad. It's 75 hertz.
Yeah, I mean, right now with the Quest 2 being 90, and then you having like the higher end stuff that are like 120 and whatnot, it's not the best. What I think is going to hurt it really is the pricing. It's $499,
Dude, yeah, that's heavy, man. Like,
well, if you're
just get the Quest, get the Quest 2.
Yeah.
Plus attachments, get the Quest 2 with some nice attachments.
Yeah, it's definitely not. You would think it because they're kind of wanting to go for this.
It seems more adjustable than any other headset I've seen though in terms of the lenses.
Yeah.
Like with most lenses, you have like maybe 3 or 4 settings to flick through.
Mm-hmm.
This one looks like you can like optimize each specific eye, which is why I think once again it's going to be used more for commercial use because it can fit like anybody's head technically,
Yeah, they also said they're kind of more focused on giving it to older users that, maybe...
Oh, it is not glass friendly though. It does. How are you going to wear glasses and wear this thing at the same time? It doesn't look like.
Oh, it has a diopter in the inside.
Oh, okay.
It has like it's a lot. It's like 6 or 7. I forgot how much. Yeah, 6 levels.
Yeah, 6.
So,
are you going to be able to fit your glasses in there though?
I don't know, but if not, the diopter will go a certain strength. I mean,
should be able to help out.
I mean, I'm blind as a bat, so it would actually wouldn't help for me. But I wear contacts, so it doesn't matter. But like, if I didn't have my contacts, my number goes higher than 6. So.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. No. I think I'm on a 5 or a 4.
Yeah. So you'd be fine.
Yeah.
But either way, I think the issue right now is like, who is this for? What's the use case purposes, and also the price point? Just being that I guess you can buy any kind of the power bank. You can buy any one. You don't have to buy like an HTC one. You can just buy like any Anker battery or whatever, any brand power bank and attach to it. So that's nice.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell they were thinking with the price point though. Like you said, unless this is something that they're specifically looking to market at like events and corporate events.
Yeah, I think so.
I think
I think display kiosks and that stuff, which is fine.
Yeah.
But
it's definitely not going to be for home entertainment use. It doesn't. I mean, like you probably could, but like at that price point, just get yourself a Quest.
Yeah.
And you can do everything that this thing can do in game.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not for me. That's for sure.
I feel like this is the choosing between a Mac laptop and a Windows laptop, where it's like the Windows laptop is a little bit cheaper, but like slightly more high end than the Mac laptop, And the Mac laptop can't run games, It does look cool though. I can't stop staring at it. It does look cool.
It's got a sunglasses feel to it.
I think that's exactly it. Most VR headsets, it's just that panel, right?
Yes.
Whereas this, it actually puts like lenses, even though like I don't think you're gonna be looking through those lenses. But they put it there to make them look more like glasses. Like they could have just put like your usual visor, just like a normal panel there. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Instead, they put two separate like little like eye hole things that it looks like there's got cameras coming out of it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But besides that, they have no actual practical use. They're just there to look more like goggles, you know?
Yeah.
Which I think is cool.
All right, here's my last bit of news, which is Resident Evil 4 VR comes out tomorrow. And judging from all the reviews that I've seen, people have a lot of good things to say about it. I mean, Resident Evil 4 is a classic Resident Evil game that's been kind of remade a lot of times, but this time in VR. And people are saying that the changes that have been made to fit VR are actually work and make sense. And, you know, I saw some video footage of gameplay, and it's kind of cool. You can grab the gun, and you can flip it around. You can, like, flip it in the air.
Oh,
you can
that's
throw
sick.
in the air and grab it and whatnot. You can do that with the knife as well. So it gives you, like I always say with shooting mechanics, it's if you ever do any shooting mechanics in VR, it's so different than console or PC or whatever, because of the way you shoot. It's like real shooting. It's not a reticule in the middle of the screen where you're moving your reticule. You are actually aiming, and it adds something else to it. But anyways, yeah, a lot of people are giving a lot of praise to this. I mean, this is an Oculus 2 exclusive game, which means like if you have the Oculus 1, you cannot play it. If you have the Rift or any other like Valve Index or any other VR headset, you cannot play it. It is Oculus 2 only. It's $39.99, which is a lot for a VR game, but to be fair, this seems like a lot of work and effort was put into it. And you know, if it
just seems like good reviews all around as well.
Yes.
Like it's just getting praise, you know?
Yeah. And they said that, like just everything's been reworked to fit VR, and it's just done very, very well. So I'm excited. IGN gave it a 9 out of 10, which is higher than
Really high.
Resident Evil Village, which got an 8 from them. So obviously, you know, it's a game that people have played before, so people who already know the storyline and whatnot. The cutscenes are a little weird because remember, because it is in VR, the cutscenes aren't from a first-person perspective, so they cut to this kind of like, almost like you stop and then you're in this like VR room and you watch the cutscene on this like screen. So the cutscenes themselves are not in true VR, if you know what I mean. Like you're in VR watching it, but it's on a flat screen. You're not looking at it in 3D. You're just
Kind of
watching
like the cinema mode.
Yes,
or the big screen
it's
mode.
like watching Netflix in VR. It's like it looks like you're watching a screen. So, anyways, all right, that's it from my side. What do you got on your news rundown? Things that we missed.
I got a couple things here, which I think we spoke about this recently, which was that the Guardians of the Galaxy game was going to be 150 gigabytes on PC,
Ooh.
but they were able to clarify that they've now optimized it down to 80 gigabytes for launch, which is still pretty big.
Yes.
Like, it's bigger than I was expecting that game to be, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Still looks like a fun game, you know, and it just doesn't look like it's going to be very long, which means it's just probably very large assets, you know, very large assets. I mean, yeah, by comparison, 150 gigabytes. By comparison, Microsoft Flight Simulator was 127 gigabytes.
Which makes sense because...
That makes sense. It's the whole world.
Yeah, there has to be like all those textures for like all those different places.
But yeah, they've confirmed that the file size will approximately be 80 gigabytes at launch. That's for the PC version of the game. And then the console versions should be about 50 gigs. Not too sure why that's less. The PS4 and PS5 versions are 50 gigabytes. And then 80 gigabytes for the PC version. But yeah, still pretty big game. But you know what? It's optimized. I'm glad it's not 150 gigabytes because nobody would have bought that on PC if it was that big. That's like triple the size of the console version. It makes no sense. Um, so I don't really get this. I was hoping. I don't think I actually have the time to uh, read this to understand it either. But basically, Kingdom Hearts is coming to Switch, and it'll be coming through cloud gaming. I'm not too sure how that's going to work specifically, but it's going to be played through cloud gaming only, which I don't understand why. Because Kingdom Hearts 3, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
sure, maybe you would want to have that for cloud gaming, but Kingdom Hearts 1.5 and 2.5, the HD remasters of the original games, I could play, like you can play those on your cell phone. You know what I mean? You
Mm-hmm.
can emulate, like you can literally emulate the PlayStation 2 and run the original game on your cell phone. So I don't understand why you would need to be playing the games through a cloud service. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Like if games like freaking Diablo 3 can work on there, then yeah, and that's like I don't know. Anyways, it's still cool that it's coming to the Switch nonetheless, regardless, but it's going to be limited to the cloud, which means obviously no offline play, which is also kind of dumb because if you think about it, half the reason you have a Switch is for like offline mobile gaming. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? If you're in bed or if you're like on a plane or a train or whatever, so you can't play it there. Sucks, but yeah. Not too sure how much this is related to gaming, but Facebook is reportedly getting a rebrand because they want to create their own metaverse. The reason I bring this up is because I think that this will be tied into the Oculus Quest. You know
Mm-hmm.
how they want to get the whole, they want to create like the virtual reality version of Facebook. Um, not too sure where that's going to be going to in the future,
Yeah,
but
I think
apparently they are looking at a
I think it
rebrand.
is related to gaming because from the rumors of Facebook's rebrand is that they want to incorporate this whole metaverse thing that they want to do, which involves Oculus and
Yeah,
the whole Horizons worlds, or what was that called? Facebook Horizons or whatever.
yeah,
One, Facebook has a horrible name PR wise right now. And also, if you saw, Oculus had like their logo, like they had this version of logo, like had it like kind of weathered away or almost broken, almost
yeah,
like they're gonna rebrand and like almost like Facebook and Oculus are gonna become whatever this new company is gonna be, like whatever Horizons or I'm just guessing here, speculating.
yeah.
So whatever this new name is gonna be incorporate both the social network of the website and the social network that they want to create in Oculus.
Yeah, some people think it might be a PR move because of the whistleblower that
Yeah.
came out recently and all the flack that Facebook is facing. I don't think it has anything to do with that. I think that this is just something that they've wanted to do for a while since they got Oculus and since they started moving towards creating their own social media virtual reality kind of thing. I think this has been like a long time coming, you know what I mean?
Well, I think it
Um,
doesn't hurt that their
yeah,
name is being
two birds,
dragged through
one
the mud,
stone.
so they want to
Yeah.
get away. Remember, Facebook, the name was made for college, right? It was supposed to be like
It
literally
was a
to
hot or not. It was originally a rate your freaking college uh, companions on whether they're hot or not. That
yeah,
was literally how Facebook started.
yeah,
It was like a rating system for people's attractiveness.
yeah.
And then they
So
added messaging and profiles and all those things.
yeah, so they kind of want to, but some people are speculating: is it going to be that kind of like a bait and switch, like the whole? Remember, Google was like, "Oh, we're changing our name. It's Alphabet or whatever," and it was like, but no one ever uses that name.
Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah. I think I don't know. It could be also the thing of where they might try to separate themselves from Instagram because they know that Instagram is more harmful. Well, it's weird because the two studies that came out and with the whistleblower is that Facebook knows that Instagram is detrimental to teenagers' mental health.
Hmm.
Like they've done multiple $1 million studies on it. Well, not $1 million studies, but they've done like really expensive studies on it to know that it's detrimental to the health of young female teens in particular, but they don't care. They're pushing for engagement, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
Uh, Same with Facebook. Facebook came out knowing that like the articles that get pushed through AI are the things that are divisive. Sorry, that split people apart because once again is more engagement there. But yeah, so I think it'll be good to rebrand anyways. You know what I mean? Start fresh kind of thing. You know. Um, but yeah, we'll see where that goes in the future. We're still a long ways away from the virtual reality social media space that Facebook is thinking of. We're still a long way away from that.
Well,
But another
you need to get the base of people enough. I mean, the Quest 2 is a very good start in terms of that. But yes, you have to get the VR headsets into enough people. Like it has to be like the cell phone, right? It needs to be something that everybody has.
Or most likely what we'll see in the future is if it doesn't get to a point where the product is in everyone's home, they'll most likely bring the service to a product you already own, like a cell phone. Now, obviously, if you use a cell phone, it's nowhere near as good as a Quest, but if you're still able to go into that virtual meeting space using your phone and being able to look around at your friends and stuff, you know, that could still do them quite well. But obviously, I think that they'd rather just everyone have a Quest, you know?
Yeah.
And then if push comes to shove, they'll bring out their software for cell phones as well, for like minimal engagement.
Yeah.
You know, not maximum engagement, obviously, but you can still look at things and walk around. Yeah. Other news though, Activision Blizzard. Of course, this whole court case against them has been ongoing, and it most likely will continue to be going on for a while. But yeah, since the start of it, they've already 20 staff. They've already fired like 20% of their 20 employees have been shed is the term they use. So I don't know if that means they've been fired or they quit, but since it started, 20 employees have exited the company, and that's in quotation marks. So I don't really know what that means, if they were fired or if they left out of their own will. But it's good to bring this up as well because I've been playing Diablo 2 Resurrected as a game, incredible. But essentially what Blizzard did was they shipped off the game to somebody else, to a different studio, to do the remaster, which the studio did an amazing job. The studio then gave the game back to Blizzard and said, "Hey, we've remastered your game." They've even put a thing in the game where you can switch in between the old view and the new view, so you can actually see how much of a difference it is graphics wise, because you can still switch back to the old school view in the game while you're in game. It's really cool. But yeah, they basically gave it back to Blizzard, and Blizzard was like, "Great, the game works. Let's launch the game. Let's sell the game." And then didn't have their servers together. Like their servers, it's been almost a month since the game came out, and people are calling for them to remove it from the PlayStation Store and the Xbox Store because they haven't fixed the server issues. There are some issues with the game where it's like people are having characters deleted, or like there were a lot of like issues on launch that have been fixed now that were like devastating. I wouldn't say devastating, but like to most people they felt like they wasted their money, you know, rightfully so. It wasn't as bad as the Cyberpunk situation, but it was bad enough for people to be like, "Hey, I want a refund," and there is no way for me to get a refund because currently there's still no way for people to get a refund, I believe. But they got down to it. What happened was there was a bit of legacy code in Diablo 2 Resurrected, and the legacy code was running on a legacy server that wasn't keeping up to date with the modern servers. So people were having wait times. Like if you wanted to play online, like when I played the other day, I was in a queue of about 120 people, which is, if you were playing an MMO, that's really not long. You just wait a couple minutes. But this is Diablo. People are playing, binging hours on end. You know what I mean? Once I got in, I created an offline character, and now I never have to deal with the queue again, ever, because I'm just playing offline. But if you want to play with an online character or play online, you will have to deal with those queue times every single time. The only thing they've done in the past 20 days is they've added the queue. Like when the game first launched, there was no queue. It would just like load forever, and then it would be like, check your internet connection or something. You know, it wouldn't even tell you. Apparently, people on the Nintendo Switch who are playing the game, they don't even get the queue. They still get the same message where it's like, "Hey, check your internet connection," and you don't know how long you're going to be waiting for. So there's like serious issues with the server, and it's a letdown from Blizzard, because literally the game's a masterpiece. Blizzard didn't even touch the freaking game pretty much. You know what I mean? The game was mastered for them, and then all they had to do was just have working servers or like running servers, you know, and they couldn't get that right. It's a disappointment. However, I am playing the game. The game is really incredible. Like I said, I recommend making an offline character so you don't have to deal with the online queues. If you want to play with friends online, then unfortunately you will have to deal with that. I'm sure they'll fix it eventually because, like I said, it's legacy code in order to make sure that the game runs exactly like the original. Because this is not, they didn't redo the engine. They just did, it's a graphics overhaul. Like the game looks good, but it still runs pretty much identically to the original, which is why I love it so much and do recommend it. It's been a fun game. I've been enjoying playing that. But yeah, issues with servers, and which, you know, it's at this point in time, I don't expect anything good coming out of Activision Blizzard. Like whenever I see their name in the news, I just assume it's bad news, and it usually is bad news.
Yeah, I mean, with people either getting fired or leaving because of all the allegations and lawsuits and all that stuff. Like they're trying
The whole
to,
like
they've been
frat kind
well,
of
they've been
vibe,
posting job postings and trying to get people to work there. And I'm sure it's probably not easy to get someone to work there right now.
No, and it's unfortunate too, because like I said, it's funny. I wouldn't say it's funny. I suppose for some people they wouldn't forget about it, but I had so much fun playing Diablo 2 that I literally forgot all about the horrible things that are going on inside Blizzard, which is a horrible thing to say. But if anything, I feel like that means that Blizzard knows that they just have to do one good game, one game where they don't let us down, and it's just been constant letdowns. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, I've been thinking about it a lot. I'm not a fan of Overwatch, but if Overwatch 2 comes out and it hits hard, I think Blizzard might be able to recover from this. Even with a horrible name. Like they're still going to have a horrible name 20 years from now, I think, but I think that they'll financially recover if Overwatch 2 hits as hard as they're expecting it to hit.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, 20 years is a long time. A lot can change. Maybe
a lot can change, sure, yeah. In other news, give Epic your email address and get a $10 coupon. This is to join their mailing list. If you're already on Epic Games mailing list, then you will be given the $10 coupon for free. Well, not for free, but you know what I mean. You get the coupon anyways. Okay. Join the mailing list, get the coupon. If you're already joined the mailing list, then you still get the coupon anyways. It's $10 off on any purchase of $15 or more. It's their usual coupon. I don't know when it's available. I think, they're doing their Halloween sale. Let's see, does it say when the coupon expires? I'm gonna assume the coupon expires November 1st, which seems quite soon. But yeah, if you are a PC gamer, take a look into it. A $10 discount on a $15 game means it's a $5 game, so definitely check it out. Outriders just came to Xbox Game Pass for PC, which is like almost a year since, because Outriders came to Xbox Game Pass for console, like on launch, I believe, or am I wrong? Yeah, no, it was on launch for console, but not for PC. But now Outriders is on PC on Game Pass. I think it's on PC right now on Game Pass.
Yeah, I played it
right
somewhat.
now.
It was like years
they added it just now, like a day ago or so. So yeah, Outriders is on Game Pass for PC officially.
Maybe I'll give it a try again.
Yeah, I played it on Steam. Look, it's a fun game, but it's just one of those games where it's more fun with friends. And like, the late game is more. I wouldn't say the late game, but the loot just gets better the more you play. So if you can, yeah, it's a fun game. It's just overall a good game, solid. I like it. Also, oddly enough, you would think that they would have like done this so much sooner, but Minecraft is coming to Game Pass for PC.
Yeah, that is
because it's Microsoft. You would assume that Minecraft would have been on Game Pass like a long time ago.
It might have been and then left. I'm not sure, but I don't know why it would ever leave.
It's coming out the 2nd of November, and I'm assuming it's the Windows version, not the Java version. Yeah. Well, look, it's weird because we had Minecraft Dungeons as a launch title on Game Pass. But yeah, so Minecraft, they're adding Minecraft the 2nd of November, which is just a few days after the Age of Empires 4, which is coming out soon. 3 days? Yeah, no. No, not 3. Sorry, 7 days from now. 1 week from now, Age of Empires 4 is coming out. I'm looking forward to that. 11th of November, we got Forza Horizon 5. So those are 2 good games coming to Game Pass soon. Right, so Vladimir Putin congratulates Russian Dota 2 team for World Championship win. I just thought that was kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Like,
That's how far video games have gotten.
I know, but also like it also just shows how much more in touch Putin is than any other president, you know? Like even Putin's like, yes, he will congratulate the Dota 2 championship world championship win. I mean, obviously it's his own country, but still, like I don't know any other country that would have done that. You know what I mean? Putin's out there, man. He's wild. He's crazy. So that's quite cool. Putin wrote in a message. So this is via Google Translate. For the first time in history, the Russian team of the Team Spirit Club won these prestigious competitions. Well done. And that was the official statement from Vladimir Putin, which is crazy. Valorant cheating at an all-time low, which I'm happy about as someone who plays Valorant almost 3 days a week competitively. When a year ago there were so many like I didn't think about it because when things get better you don't really remember when they were bad. You just like I don't know if that even makes sense, but the thing is I didn't take into consideration until I read this article. When's the last time I bumped into a cheater in Valorant? And it's been ages. Like I haven't bumped into a cheater in a long time in Valorant. So their anti-cheat's working really well apparently. Not much to say other than that, but yeah, the cheating is at an all-time low currently, which is great. And then Microsoft recently did something that got me really, really sad, which was that they teased Fable, a big Fable reveal, and then they pulled their tweet back, and so yeah, and they just tweeted out again, sorry for any confusion. We don't have any big game news tomorrow or any info about the upcoming Fable game. So that was really annoying.
Yeah.
And then moving forward, I don't really know what this means because I don't know much about NFTs, and I'll be honest, I don't really care about NFTs. But Steam bans all the games with NFTs or cryptocurrency. And to which Epic replied by saying, we welcome all games with NFTs and cryptocurrency. Which can't make sense, you know what I mean? If they got to go somewhere, you know, and Epic will take them. But yeah, moving forward, I don't really know what that means specifically. And then we spoke about this last time on the podcast, but there was the huge Twitch leak, and supposedly passwords were not exposed in all the source code that got leaked. So, I mean, I was nervous as well because I just created a new account. But yeah, passwords were not exposed. No point in worrying about that. All stream keys were reset. And yeah. Point is, you didn't have to worry. Oh, and then I already spoke about the Diablo 2 news.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's all the news I got from me.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Well, I want to thank everyone for watching or listening. Make sure to subscribe to this YouTube channel, youtube.com/Revog. You can subscribe to our podcast feed, which is on Spotify and on Anchor.fm and other stuff like that. You can follow me on Twitter at ThinkHero, Instagram, Dennis.tzng. Josh, where can people find you?
You guys can find me on Twitch at www.twitch.tv/itsthespis. I'll give you a link, Dennis. I'm sure you guys can find the link in the description below.
Yes, it's in the description below. So check that out. And so until next week, we will see you guys later.
Later.